Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Rachel Morris, and I am with the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce. Today, I'm excited to have Rolesville Baptist Church joining us to talk a little bit about Rolesville Baptist Church, about the church, the history, and kind of the programs that are going on with the church. And we're going to start off with Pastor Randy Bridges to kind of introduce himself and tell us a little bit about Rolesville Baptist Church. Good morning, Pastor Bridges.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting us to have this opportunity. The church has been here a long time. It came out of Wake Crossroads Baptist Church, and I think we're celebrating, I might be not exactly right, but I'm pretty close to right, I think. I think this is 186 years of being in existence. So the church has been here a long time. And it was a church that had a lot of roots in agriculture, and it was a church that had a lot of families in the church. Even in my time here, I came in 2006, the church has changed drastically. There's still an agricultural community that's connected to the church, but not as many. And there's a lot of the families who've been here for many generations. But probably 80+% of the people coming in our church are folks who have moved into the Rolesville area. So it's really changed who our parishioners are. Our congregation has changed quite a bit. And so it's good to have the old and it's good to have the new. And it's been a breath of fresh air to have both of those intermingling. And we certainly invite people from the community. I hope our church is perceived as being open and inclusive and inviting to all people in our area. But,
now, Pastor Bridges, one of the things that I will tell you when you talk about the history of the church, part of some of the programs that we do here at the Chambers, we do a history day where we go in and we'll bring youth in, and we're about to start an adult version of the program. And we talk about the history of the church. And so when you talk about the church almost being 186 years old, a lot of that, truly, when you look at kind of the foundation of Rolesville Baptist Church is really a part of that history and kind of who we are, how our town has developed, and who we've become. And so when you look at that and you talk about the church, being inviting and welcoming to all, I know one of the things here, especially when I moved here to Rolesville, maybe 7 or so years ago, and you talk about the church, there's almost any person I pass is a parishioner at Rolesville Baptist Church or in some way tied to or affiliated with the church. And I think that, and I didn't want to say it, but when you said that, I was like, it's so true. When you talk about the church and kind of who you are and what you all stand for and kind of being here in the community, you all are a solid part of who Rolesville is. And what is the size of your congregation at Rolesville Baptist?
We are approximately in the books about 1,000 members. Now, we might not be able to locate a few of those, but when we were coming on a regular basis, we would have two services, one at 8:30, one at 10:30, and Sunday school in between. And we would have we probably averaged 350, 375 attendance on Sunday morning for those two services, the 8:30 and the 10:30 service.
Wow. Now, I know for looking at some of the programs, now your programs have evolved over the years of what the church does, which speaks to the quality of I would say the team that you have there, and looking at some of the programs as far as what you've offered. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the programs that the church actually offers?
Yeah, we've really expanded, particularly ministries on a local basis. We have Meals on Wheels that's done 5 days a week out of the church. We have Backpack Buddies. I don't know how many schools we were serving before the coronavirus came in, but probably 8 to 10 schools that we were packing bags here, and they were going out those various schools. Volunteers come and pick them up. Also have a read and feed program that usually goes on during school. We identify people at Rolesville Elementary School. We pick them up, bring them here. Parents come, and we do one-on-one, usually helping kids learn to catch up on their reading. So we do that ministry. We do Operation Inasmuch once a year. We have had as many as 200 volunteers to go out in the community, Rolesville area, surrounding areas, even into Raleigh. We do yard work for people who need that. We've built handicap ramps. We've gone to hospice care and provided meals over in Raleigh at transitions. We usually identify 4 or 5 families who are in real need. We asked our people to bring furniture and canned goods, staple goods. We take those to those families during that time. Whatever we see, we've been to abuse shelters and gone and painted and worked on the playground. So whatever the needs are. So that's a real big deal we do every year. Operation Inasmuch. Vacation Bible School is a big deal for us. We have not only our kids, we usually have, I guess, Chris, in excess 150 people total for that during the summer. At Christmas time and at Thanksgiving, we provide Thanksgiving baskets probably for around 25 families. And then we do an angel tree. We sometimes help as many as 30 different families in the area that's in need, and we pull angels off the trees and do those. So it's almost every month we're doing something.
Wow.
In terms of ministering here in this community. And we like to partner with the schools and partner with other entities within the Rolesville area to be able to provide ministry. So it's pretty robust what we're doing. Sometimes we asked the question, what will we need to stop doing so we can start another ministry? Because we sometimes are stretched pretty far out, but it's really been good to see our people willing to not only come to church, but to go out in the community and serve the Lord through doing service to those who are hurting and those who are in need.
Now, I know you have 2 other people there with you, and I know Chris works with the youth. Can you tell us, Chris, a little bit about some of the programs and as we focus, especially as we talk about the pandemic that we're currently in, and we have of course kids are home, some kids, private school kids are actually going to school. So how has your ministry changed, or what changes or adaptations have you made since we've been in the pandemic?
Sure. Yeah, so it has changed things a lot. I work with both the children and the youth here, so really birth on up through when they graduate high school, and even I do some with college age students as well. During the shutdown and the COVID-19, I've utilized Zoom a lot, and so we do calls with both the children. We consider children up through 6th grade, and then also with the youth. Done those on a weekly basis with the youth, and then on a every other week basis with the children. We have actually started to meet in person again with our youth, with the middle schoolers and high schoolers. We try to do that in as safe a way as possible. We actually meet outside under the sheltered carport behind our church. We require masks, and we split up the middle schoolers and the high schoolers so that the group doesn't get too large. But we're doing that with the children. As we get into the fall, we are actually going to be doing a blend of in-person and online ministry. We'll be doing activities like gathering here at the church with sidewalk chalk, and just doing fun things like writing Bible verses and drawing pictures, just hopeful and encouraging things on the sidewalk, just something fun for the children. But again, doing that in a safe way that's outdoors, wearing masks, those sorts of things. Things like setting up a screen outside and watching a movie, those sorts of things. So we'll kind of blend the in-person and online ministry with the children, and continue to do, like I said, do the ministry to the youth with keeping the group size small and keeping them outside and with masks on as much as possible to just stay safe, but still have a way to see each other. We do have a very, very active, vibrant children's ministry and youth ministry. That's something goodness, that our church just really, really prioritizes our young people. And our young people, I'd say, really do well at pouring back into the church what the church has poured into them. So I feel like we have a good connection between our young people and the older generations, the middle age and the senior adults. So there's a good connection there with our younger folks and older folks.
That's really good. I know that, speaking of some things, and this question is for Pastor Bridges. So
Okay.
how has the church really embraced, I found that the discussion a lot of us have talked about is a lot of people use the platforms such as Zoom, which we're on Zoom now. And we look at how the pandemic has forced a lot of us to do things differently that we weren't as open to doing before. So how has the church embraced technology? I know we've heard Chris talk about the things that he does as far as with the youth and the young adults in the church and using Zoom. How has the church overall embraced technology during the pandemic?
Well, we've used Zoom some, even people who are prospective members, we've done some of that with them. They haven't allowed me to be in a hospital since March.
Yes.
Or a nursing home. So it means that we're having to use, I'm doing more texting, emails, and telephone calls again.
Wow.
than I've done forever. But the big thing that's happened, we've used Zoom some, but the big thing that really happened is, although we would record services and you could get copies of the services before, we've done the live. We changed that service to 9:30. We do one service on Sunday morning live, and it's been phenomenal, the results that we've had, and the amount of people watching us live, the various homes, but also the people who come back and watch it already recorded on
Wow.
Facebook or watch it on our website. So that's been phenomenal, the views that we're having. And I don't get on that as much as some of our other staff. They're a little more adept to that than I am, but I just hear the viewing. I've just been blown away by that. We have even had people who have called and interested in joining the church who've been watching us live at 9:30 that never have been to the church but want to join the church because they've been watching us. So that's really been a silver lining, a very
Yes.
strong plus for us during this time that we've had this pandemic.
And the other thing too, I think that this will allow a lot of our churches to reach audiences. And so we look at the history of Rolesville, and we look at how long the church has been around. And we know that there are a lot of families who are based out of the church. And so this is giving a lot of people an opportunity who no longer live in the area to still be connected to their home church in a sense. And I think I've seen this not only with Rolesville Baptist, but I've seen it in other things also. And being able to connect with your family or being able to connect with your church and being able to reach that broader audience. So let's say January 1 comes, right? 2021, and we're no longer in phases, we're no longer under restrictions. How will the church still continue to utilize the technology, or will you continue it? Will you make adjustments to it? I know it's hard to answer that considering, we all don't really know what, next week holds as far as our restrictions, but is there any thought to it?
Yeah, we've talked about that. I don't think we can do away with the live service.
Wow.
We may have a change in some times and that kind of thing, but I think we're pretty locked in. Yeah, we have people all over the United States and even some foreign countries that's viewed our services. And so you're exactly right. It's given opportunity for folks to watch our service who could not do that. I've had some of our senior adults asked, are you going to keep doing that? We probably can't come back. At least some not going to come back to start with, and others, their health has deteriorated, so they're not coming back at all. So yeah, I think we're pretty set on continuing to do that live service, and we may change the time when we get back. We're not sure about that yet, but yeah, I think it's forever changed the way we do church. And to be honest with you, we're a little concerned that some people are enjoying too much watching that thing. And drinking coffee and eating donuts and in their pajamas, right? So they're really enjoying that. So we have a little concern if the virus would go away tomorrow, whether some of them would come back. But we have a larger viewing audience than we would have here on Sunday morning. So
Wow.
I've said this is the first time in my life I didn't know who I was preaching to.
Yeah.
But literally every week I get contacted by people that I've never met, never heard of, have moved into the area. So it's been phenomenal what's happened.
Well, this has definitely helped. I can speak personally. It's given me an opportunity to actually visit all of the Rolesville churches.
Mhm.
And so I'm a member of another church outside of Rolesville, but this has given me an opportunity. I know majority of the pastors that are actually in Rolesville, and I do love the relationship and interaction that the churches have here in Rolesville. That's one thing I do appreciate and love about this area. And I can say that I have enjoyed visiting the churches remotely from home, and you are absolutely correct. We are sitting there eating breakfast and watching the Sunday service. So I am one of those persons who actually may be in that boat. But speaking of churches, so you have a wonderful new building that I see almost every day. Tell us about the new building that is currently in the process of being built.
Well, it's been a long time in coming. When I moved here, we had no intentions of building another building. That really wasn't on the radar. But we talked about our facilities, and some of our facilities weren't meeting the needs that we needed to. For instance, the sanctuary we have here, if somebody came to a funeral and needed to go to a restroom, we don't have a handicap restroom. You'd have to wheel them out, take them over to another building. The choir has to go upstairs to practice. This facility, the sanctuary we have, has certainly served great purpose, but it just opens up a lot more opportunities. The new building, it'll be a new sanctuary, a new office suite. All of our staff will be actually in the same office suite. Right now, we got one person downstairs, two people upstairs, or one person upstairs and two on the main floor. So we'll all be in a suite together, and it'll be easier for even the people who are delivering things to get in and out of there. So it'll be a lot more accessible. We also have a music suite, and I know that Brett is excited about having that. He can practice right behind the sanctuary and then walk the choir right on in there. Don't have to worry about stairs and tripping over the robes and all that kind of stuff going down, which we've had happen. Upstairs, we have probably going to have as many as 8 classrooms up there for Sunday school classes. And that'll bring the majority of our adult classes over from the other buildings. So we'll have a more consolidated facility. The sound in there, the acoustics will be fantastic. It's going to be great. If you haven't, will not have been to it when you see this, we hope that you come when we do get it open. And we've got a fantastic piano and an organ. It's going to light that place up. It's going to be a great service when we get over there. So we invite everybody to come be a part of that.
And what's the scheduled completion date?
We're hoping that it's done by the latter part of September, at the worst, the beginning of October. So we're within a month of possibly getting in there.
Wow.
If this coronavirus will let up on us a little bit. So everybody wear your mask and wash your hands and practice social distancing.
And you mentioned Brett. So we know Brett's in the room, and Brett is, as he says, the newbie. So Brett, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm the newcomer on the block. I started here at Rolesville Baptist in April, so it's been just shy of 6 months, and which is hard to believe that it's been that long. And I've just been amazed. As Pastor Bridges said at the beginning, it's at one point in time, I think RBC was known as kind of a country church, and it's just not that anymore. They have adapted. There's still that familial connection here for sure, which I can feel even without having worshiped here in person yet. But the church has adapted beautifully to this push into technology. We have Sundays where, so part of my role here is not just minister of music, but also of outreach. So I help with our interface between members and also some evangelism and connecting with our community. So I keep a check on website statistics and analytics for our social media. We've nearly doubled our engagements on Facebook on a monthly basis. We have some Sundays that are several weeks that have been upwards of 2,000 people. So
Wow.
we're reaching twice the amount of people in general each week that we could before the pandemic. And so, just from a Christian standpoint, it's obvious that God is at work in this, and that we're able to spread the gospel amidst this crisis and comfort people in new ways. We've also, because of the increased traffic on our website, we've done a complete overhaul of our website. I invite our viewers to check that out. And so a lot of exciting things here. We're definitely meeting this challenge head on.
So what platforms are available for the church? What social media platforms?
So we did think about expanding past Facebook, but in some consultation that we've done, it seems to be most effective to really master one. Mm-hmm. So we're working on Facebook, and we kind of met people where they were.
Yes.
And it seemed like we could engage most of our membership on Facebook. I don't know if we do have an Instagram, actually. I think
there's a youth Instagram.
There's a youth Instagram. Yeah. So, because the youth do their own thing.
Yes.
Which I'm like just slightly removed from that. So, so we're considering expanding. At this point, though, just in terms of social media platforms, we're sticking with Facebook, directing people to our website. And now we're also branching out some small group meetings, and we're calling them growth groups, into a virtual format. We have some groups meeting outdoors and practicing social distancing that way. But we're staying connected, and this church is going to come out stronger than it went in, which is amazing. And I'm honored to be on this staff.
And I think that what I found is, prior to COVID and having we've had some professionals to come in and do some trainings, and they talk about, people wanting to be on multiple platforms. And I will tell you, some experts will recommend that you master one platform. And when you have mastered that one platform, then you use that platform to grow other platforms. And so I know at the Chamber, we have seen our biggest engagement truly has been Facebook. Mm-hmm. And that has been, it could be because of our general audience, or our target audience has been Facebook. We're on, some other platforms, but I can definitely understand and agree with you on as far as mastering your one platform. And so I do have just a couple of questions before we wrap up. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you kind of the basis behind this. And I don't know if Pastor Bridges is still in the room, mm-hmm. because I know quite a few people here in Rolesville, parishioners and whenever I mention Randy Bridges, they're just like, oh, I know Pastor Bridges, no big thing. It's like, oh, Pastor Bridges. So what is that one thing that you would love to tell the Rolesville area about Rolesville Baptist Church? And, if they're looking for a home, you mentioned it earlier, and I do appreciate so much the fact that Rolesville Baptist Church has grown not only in what you do, but you've actually grown in the area as we're growing here in Rolesville, and that's much appreciated. And I also appreciate the history of the church and what you all do. What is that one thing for a person who's not familiar with the church, who's not familiar with the area? We have people who are looking to move to Rolesville, and they always reach out. And a lot of people don't realize this, but the top things they look at in the area are schools and churches. Yeah. So when people are looking at this area, what is the one thing you would love for them to know about Rolesville Baptist Church that they may not know?
Well, that's hard to say one thing, but I would say this, and this is really our intention, and we make a concerted effort for this to happen. When somebody comes to our church, we would be really put out if somebody did not feel as though that had a good experience in being here. So we want to have good services, but we want to be a welcoming, inviting, friendly, inclusive church. And if somebody came to this church and walked out and numbers of people didn't speak to them, I would be extremely disappointed. So I think you're going to find that our people are going to be inviting and welcoming. We would like for you to be a part not only of worship and Sunday school, and when we're in session, we got Wednesday night meals, and we've got activities, choirs, children's choirs. We've got adult choirs, praise team, adult choirs that are meeting. And also on Wednesday night, I'm usually doing, like, sometimes in the fall, I'm doing financial peace with Dave Ramsey. Somebody else is doing an adult Bible study. With what Brett is initiating with the growth groups, I think we got the possibility some of those might be meeting on Wednesday. So I think there's a place for people to connect. And, church is like a marriage. You either sort of fit and connect or you don't. And I tell people, we love who we are and what we're about, and we think this will be a place you can do that. But if it's not, find that place. Yeah. But we think that we have a lot to offer. I think our facilities are going to be #1, top notch. Mm-hmm. These guys are sitting here with me, but I'll tell you, we've got a really fantastic staff.
Yes, you do.
I mean, we really don't have a weakness in our staff. These guys are doing a really good job. And our lay people, I think they want other people to come in. They're not exclusive in terms of leadership. We want the people to become involved and use the gifts that God has given them in the life of our church. And so we're excited about what God is doing present tense, and even the possibilities of what's going to happen in the future. So I think this is a good place to come. And the good thing about this watching live is it's non-threatening. People can go in and watch that, and they can say, well, we like it or don't. And even before they come to the church, they can see what that service is like. So that's really been a good thing. And a lot of people have liked it, and so they've been contacting us. I would say one other thing about social media and platforms. We've added 100 new names to our email list since we've been doing this.
That's awesome.
We're up to approaching 400 different names or homes that we got on there. So people have joined. We really communicate well through emails. How our members are doing, people in the hospital, those who have passed away, special prayer requests, we can send those out through email. So we really communicate well through that. But I would say we just want to be open, friendly, caring, meeting people's needs. We want to be the family of God in the end.
Well, I definitely appreciate that, Pastor Bridges. And I do want to thank you, Chris and Brett, for talking with me and telling me a little bit about Rolesville Baptist Church. I'll make sure that I include contact information for the church also in this. And I think sometimes that when people have an opportunity to meet, people behind the business, and this is a business spotlight, and of course this is a church, and at the end of the day, my church is a business too. I love when people have an opportunity to meet the people behind it, because a lot of times when you see a pastor in the pulpit, sometimes it's a little different, but I think that for those who know you here in Rolesville, like I always, people be like, oh, I know, it's serious when I say, people say, oh, I know Pastor Bridges. Oh, just call him, he'll talk to you. And I think that's not just for you, but also for the church in general and your ministers. And I think that is one of where the love that you say you hope that you project and that your ministers project, I know I felt it, I know it's real, and I know others have felt it too. And that is something that's definitely appreciated in today's world. So thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I cannot wait to visit the new church. I see it because for those that don't know, the Chamber of Commerce is across from Rolesville Baptist Church. And so every hour in the hour, the church bell rings, and I love that too. It's kind of strange to some people, but I love hearing that bell ring on the hour. It's a home feeling that kind of resonates with me. So thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day, and we appreciate everything that you do for the community.
Thank you for inviting us. We appreciate that a lot. And when you get snowed in, just come on over to Rolesville Baptist.